the end of the grass-covered trail there that leads back to the field that you can see at the beginning of part 1 of this documentary. So another one of these holes caught my eye. It looks like it was dug neatly and the dirt was piled over to one side of it. That's the parking lot that was shown in part 1 of this documentary. So continuing in the same direction, you reach this fence. And what caught my attention was this sandy spot here, and it's empty of leaves or weeds or trees, so it caught my attention there. So there's an embankment on one side, and you could see an old iron handrail up top. So I climbed the embankment and I found that there was another trail up there. When I almost reached the top, I saw these floor pads that could lock together. If you make a right on this trail, that'll lead you back to the main part of Hamilton Park, where it has a playground and some baseball fields. But if you make a left, you reach the sports complex. So this sports complex has two structures there. One is something like a tent, and the other one's a corrugated metal building. So as I was walking along this trail, I noticed there was a lot of garbage, bags and bottles and buckets and all sorts of stuff that had been thrown over the side of this embankment here. So I was looking at the bags and something caught my eye down there, which was a bicycle, a 10-speed bike. So someone had heaved it over the side of the embankment, along with a series of garbage bags and old bottles and cans and garbage. So when I climbed down there, I was kind of surprised to see that both of the tires, the bike was in good shape and both of the tires were completely filled with air. The brakes worked. Both the brakes worked, and I picked it up and I gave the pedal a try, and the bike worked perfectly. So here was this bike, almost looked brand new, in perfect shape, that had been thrown over the side of this embankment right behind the sports center. So I looked through these garbage bags. After tearing a few of them open, it looked like old sheetrock and garbage that had been ripped out during a construction or something like that. It looked like old construction garbage. Then I found this little child's water raft, and it made me think of the river that's right across the field. You go down the embankment, you reach a field, go across the field, and you'll hit the Mad River. And from what I know, a lot of the homeless people were hanging out by the river, and they were camping near those storage tanks. And it just made me think of maybe a homeless person had been living over there, and their stuff had wound up thrown over the embankment there. But the strangest thing was a bike. Now, that bike may or may not have belonged to a homeless person, but I really doubt anybody would stash their bike like that. If it belonged to a homeless person and they had an important business meeting or something, my guess is they would take their bike out into the woods and then cover it with leaves or something like that. Cover it with tarp and then cover it with leaves. But the last thing they'll want to do is throw it over an embankment right near a sports center where you would guess that anybody walking along the trail could just look over like I did and see the bike sitting there, and they got a brand new bike. Like I said, that bike was in pretty good condition, and I don't know anybody who would want to stash it that way. However, if someone got used to taking people's stuff and throwing it over the side of the embankment to get rid of it, that will kind of explain it. So then I noticed these mosquito spray containers. They had mosquito spray, Raid spray, and there's all these different aerosol bottles over there. And of course people need off and Raid and all that in the woods. But all the burnt trees kind of implied a whole new meaning to the 5 or 10 empty aerosol, Raid, and insect spray containers that I found in one little area by a burnt out tree. So in this tree, it looked hollowed out there, It looked like someone had poked a stick or something in the ground. It's in the shape of a five-pointed star or something. It's in the shape of some geometric shape there. And there's these holes poked all around there. And I don't know if I got the best shot there, but if you look in the tree, it looks like there's some burn marks within the hollow of that tree. And then walking along that embankment, I also found what looks like a child's pillow. So all sorts of garbage have been thrown over that embankment directly in back of that sports complex.